Welcome back to Double Down University. I'm back at you guys with another NFL PrizePicks video for Thursday Night Football. We have the Detroit Lions going up against the Green Bay Packers, and I have 4 props for you guys today. I have Sam Laporta over 43.5 receiving yards. I have Luke Musgrove over 37.5 receiving yards, as well as Jordan Love over 16.5 rushing yards, and Daniel Whelan over 4 punts. So let's get into it. So this game is going to be a really close game. As you can see with the spread actually just got bumped up to 2, Detroit -2. I think a lot of that is based on the injuries on the Green Bay side, and I'll kind of get to that and touch on it soon. But yeah, so it should be a 1-possession game, so it should be close. No blowout potential here. It is a divisional game, so with divisional games, you see a lot of punting and field goals because the games are much tighter. But moving on to, let's start with Jordan Love. So Jordan Love, he's in not an ideal situation for a quarterback going into this matchup. Reason being is because he will be without his left tackle and his left guard, as well as potentially missing his right tackle as well. So that's probably why you see a lot of line movement. If a team is going to be down 3 of their top, 5 linemen, that's a really big disadvantage for them. And then also watch out for the statuses of Christian Watson, as well as Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones. Those 2 are key factors in their offense as well. But the reason why I like Love, because Detroit, they have the 10th best pressure percentage in the league as far as getting home or just pressuring the quarterback. So I think, being as though he's going to be without 2, potentially 3 of his offensive linemen, he's going to be forced to run more than usual. As you can see here, his first game he only had 12 rushing yards, but he only had 3 attempts. His last 2 games he was forced to scramble a little bit more. He had 2 attempts against Atlanta. He had 2 attempts for 23 yards. Then against New Orleans last week, or a Sunday, he had 9 attempts for 39 yards. So that kind of basically gives you an idea of him having to, to do more off-schedule stuff, being able to move around in the pocket. So I'm pretty sure with a lot of their plays, they're going to have him moving around more and not being a stationary target. They're going to have him kind of rolling out, doing a lot of play action or, any things of that nature. But I think, too, they will kind of be forced to run the ball more because it's easier as you bring in new offensive linemen to go forward than to have them to go backwards and pass protect. So I think they're going to try to establish the run first, and if they do have success with that, then they should be able to unlock their play action passing, as well as just him to be able to scramble for some yards, because the linebackers can't just cheat back and play pass coverage. They have to come down in the run game as well. So just look out for his rushing yards. I really like that as well. I was looking at completions, but he's not really super accurate. He only completes 50% or 56% of his passes. So, and Detroit, they give up 24 passing attempts per game, or pass completions, I should say. So I was looking at completions because he's going to get the ball out quick. So that could be another way to hedge, if you think he can get about 22 completions. But he threw the ball a ton last week. He threw the ball 44 times. But he had 22 completions, and like I said, Detroit, they give up 24 completions on average the first 3 games. Now, granted, the sample size is small, so they could have a player that they played like Patrick Mahomes, who had a bunch of completions because he was down in the game, so that could kind of skew their their team completions for the season so far, since it's only been 3 games. So I really like his rushing yards tonight, though. Moving on to Luke Musgrave, and all of this is correlated into the game script on what I think it should be, because they are the underdog. So Luke Musgrave, I like him, being as though I just said they're going to be down their offensive linemen. They should have to get the ball out quick. So with him, he has seen an increase in his targets and just his snap count, because as you can see, week 1 he had 45 snaps. He took a little dip in snaps against Atlanta week 2, but he had 62 offensive snaps last week, and then also 7 special team snaps. But he had 6 catches for 49 yards last week, and then week 1 he had 3 catches for 50 yards. So he probably needs 2 or 3 catches in order to go over this 37.5 line. But I like that he's targeted on his routes run. Week 1, he's 18% targeted on his routes run against Chicago, 15%, but he had low snap count in that game. So I think he would have been targeted more if he would have ran more routes. And then also last week he ran 39 routes and he was targeted 20% of the time. And then he's also a red zone target. As you can see, inside the 20, he was targeted twice. And then the week before, he was targeted 1 time in the red zone as well. Reception distance, he's had 1 catch for 20-plus yards against Chicago. So if he has any of that where he has 1 catch for 20-plus yards, he would just need 18 yards and the second catch to be able to go over this line. So I really, really like him. And then, like I said, his targets is there, 4, 3, and 8. So if he gets this 8 target volume again, especially with potentially missing Watson and Jones, I think that he should be able to go over this number. And then also, I wrote it down in my notes. Let's see if I can go back to it. Yep. So with Musgrave, no team is giving up more yards to tight ends than the Lions, who give up an average of 87 yards per game to that position, to tight end. So it's another really good spot for him as well. So I really like his receiving yards. And then moving on, we're going to go from tight end to tight end. One of the guys who actually leads the league for tight ends and receiving yards so far this year is Sam Laporta. I've watched him last year at I think he went to Iowa State, I think. So I watched him. I think he played with Brock Purdy, I want to say, a couple years ago. But really, really good tight end. Can catch the ball. Can do pretty much a little bit of everything. But the reason why I'm going with him today, same reason. Green Bay struggled, or they're middle of the pack with guarding tight ends. But also, just his targets is there. Like he's getting 5 targets week 1, 6 targets week 2, 11 targets last week, and then he's had 5 catches. I really want his receptions, but they don't have his receptions up there, so we're going to settle for yards right now. But if they are to add that to the board, be sure to take his receptions. That should be 4.5 at the most. As you can see, he's had 5 catches week 1, 5 catches week 2, 8 catches week 3. But if he's getting 11 targets, he should be able to go over this receiving yards line. I think it's just too low at, was it 43.5? I want to say 43. Yep, 43.5. So I think he should go over that. He's also become the quarterback's best friend. As you can see, like, look at this. He's targeted on 40% of his routes last week, 20% of his routes the week prior, and then week 1, 27% of his routes he was targeted on, and he only ran 18 routes week 1. So that's crazy. Production, and then yards per target is 7.8 yards, 10.5 yards, 7 points. So he's running deep routes down the field. He's not running just little short drag routes, or just little curl routes, to come back towards the ball. He's running deeper down the field, so that should equate to more yards as well. I don't think they have any yards after the catch. Let's see. After contact. Nope, after the catch. So yards after the catch, he has 81 yards after the catch, average 4.5. That's not bad for a tight end. But yeah, so I like Laporta. And then the last one that I have, that this one correlates as well, because I think that if they're going to be down 3 offensive linemen, they're going to struggle with moving the ball and also being able to continue drives and finish off drives. So what that leads to is a bunch of punts. Now, granted, they don't have, I was looking at, let me see if I can find it. What's his name? The punter. His name is Daniel Whelan. They don't have punter stats. I had to go back and look in the game logs for just his numbers, his stats. But what I can tell you without having to look it up is that he's pushed this projection twice out of the last 3 games and went over 1 time. So he's 1 for 3. If you want to say, a push doesn't count as a win. So he's 1 for 3. But it just correlates really, really well with, being a division game, being close, and then also not having your offensive linemen that could result into, a couple sacks on a couple drives on 3rd down, leads to a punt. And, all we really need is 2 punts a half, 3 at the max. 3 will get us there. If you have 3 1 half and 2 the next, it should get us there with drives stalling out. Let's take a look at their team total because that can give us a good indication on punting as well. Let's see, team props, team totals. So actually, Green Bay is actually shaded to go under 2.5 total touchdowns, team touchdowns, and then also their team totals at 22.5, so like 23 points. So they think they would get 20 points and then a field goal. So that works well in our favor for the punts as well. So I really like those 4. You can add, actually Laporta just got bumped down on his yards. I really like his receptions better, to be honest, but it just wasn't on the board. So that was the only prop I could take for him at the moment. But I really like his receptions because if he can get 5 receptions, then or 4, I think it's 4.5. That should be his line, 4.5. So I think he should get 5 catches in the game if he's getting targeted that many times. So I really like those 4, and I'll go through them again. I have Luke Musgrave over 37.5 receiving yards. I have Jordan Love over 16.5 rushing yards, as well as Daniel Whelan over 4 punts, and Sam Laporta over his receiving yards or over his receptions whenever they add it to the board. So I really like those 4. You can add another for a 5th if you want to. Anything that you guys choose. I appreciate you guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.